God.
People call you the Mouth, right? They say you tell all sorts of stories.
I'm no mouth to you. My name is Denyek, got that? What do people call you then? Bughead? Arseface?
I'm sorry, Stenyak. I'm Henry.
Pleased to meet you. But you were right about the stories. I could tell you stories so sad they'd make the devil cry. Or would you prefer something so scary it'll make the hairs on your ass turn white? But it's a lot of hard work for me. Now, if you had something to drink or a couple of groschen, that might help loosen my tongue.
I know quite a few stories myself. How about a trade? A story for a story.
All right, then. But if it's the one about the magic porridge pot, don't bother. I've heard it 100 times. And that story always leaves me feeling hungry.
I know a romantic tale about a knight, his lady love, and 3 impossible tasks he had to undertake to win her heart. He had to bring her the sweetest wine, tame the wildest horse, and make a crown with the rarest gem.
And then? What happened when he'd done all 3?
Well, the lady of his heart showed her gratitude by giving him the most precious thing she had. And I'm not talking about gold.
Ho! A raunchy ending. That'll be popular with the lads round here. If I were you, I'd make it longer. To last a whole evening. Add a wicked stepmother, that sort of thing. It'll be a hit. And now, I'll tell you a tale in return. So what kind of story would you like to hear?
I like stories that can teach me something. Stories with a moral.
Haven't you heard enough of those in church? But it's not a problem. I have just the tale for you. And it's not one you'll hear from any priest. So, once upon a time, there lived in these very lands 2 brothers. The older was called Kuba, the younger, Matthias. They were both woodcutters, like their father and his father before him. One day, at the height of summer, they were working in the woods. The air was as hot as a furnace, so Matthias went to a nearby pond to cool himself. But as he was leaning over the cold water, there was a loud splash. His axe had got loose from his belt. In haste, he began to search the muddy bed of the pond, and his hands soon touched something hard and heavy. He pulled it out and could not believe his eyes. He pulled out an axe. Yes, but not his old one. It was an axe made of pure silver.
Good God. I'd grab that without a second thought.
Maybe you would, but Matthias would never. He was an honest man, and with a big swing he threw the silver axe back. He searched the pond again, and this time he pulled out his own axe. Nothing but dull iron and old wood.
I reckon that was the right choice. Who knows who the silver axe belonged to?
Well, quite. Listen on. Matthias was just about to leave when suddenly a water goblin came out of the pond, silver axe in his hands, and he said, "You're a righteous man, Matthias, and for your honesty, you may keep both axes." Matthias, not hanging around for the goblin to change his mind, took up both axes, gave us thanks, and ran to tell Kuba all about it. Kuba, however, is not best pleased with his little brother's fortune. He deeply envied Matthias for his newfound wealth. So, he set out to try the same thing. He ran as fast as his legs could carry him straight to the pond, threw his own axe in, and began a pretend search for it. Yet Kuba had no luck. He pulled out the axe he'd thrown in himself. So he tried again. Tricked by sunlight, he grabbed something shiny, only to pull out his old iron axe again. Enraged, he hurled his axe back into the water and yelled, "Fuck this axe! I want a silver one." But the water goblin heard his shameful cry and was greatly upset by Kuba's greed. So, When Kuba reached down into the water for a third time, the water goblin seized his hand, pulled him down a hole to the dark depths, and drowned him.
You think I'll blurt it out to the first person I meet?
No, I just want to be sure nobody finds out.
That's so cruel.
You never know.
I feel sorry for Kuba.
Aye, and so did Matthias. He went to the water goblin and begged for his brother's body so he could take him home and bury him. But the path back from the pond led over a steep hill, and carrying the weight of the waterlogged body exhausted Matthias. He stopped to rest by an old oak tree, and he used a silver axe to cut off a branch that would serve as a walking stick. But it wasn't enough. Somehow, it was still getting harder to continue up the hill. Then Matthias realized it wasn't his brother's body that was weighing him down. It was the silver axe. The axe was the cause of all this trouble. So he started bashing the silver axe against the big stone with all his might, trying to destroy it. Yet no matter what, he couldn't even make a dent. With the last of his strength, Matthias climbed to the top of the hill. He knew he could go no further, so he found a pretty spot with a view over the valley and dug his brother a grave. There, he buried both his brother and the silver axe that had brought such pain upon them. His final act was to stick the oak branch in the ground by the grave. But lo and behold, the branch grew green leaves and became a tree. The locals have had no dealings with the water goblin since then, but some have had the bad luck to bump into him. And when you walk by the pier, where it all happened, you can still hear his chuckling.
Good to see you.
A large beer for me.
That was a very nice story.
Story? What story? It's the truth.
Why hasn't anyone gone looking for the axe then?
Because it brings misfortune. Didn't you listen to me at all? Look for yourself if you wish. Rock Tower Pond isn't far from here. The Water Goblin's Pier is somewhere among the reeds. But leave me out of it. I'm fine here with my drink. It was good to see you, my friend.
God bless you, sir.
About those Cumans.
Is it done?
Aye. That shouldn't be a problem anymore.
Are you sure?
God bless you.
Don't worry. I had a word with them.
What? What the fuck do you mean, had a word? Are you yanking my pizzle?
I understand you may not trust me, but my word is good. When I say they'll never show up here again, I mean it. If they do, I'll take care of them. My parents were killed by humans. I've no reason to lie for their sake.
Well, all right. But woe betide you if I even hear of them again. Now go, before I change my mind. Take care, friend.
Where's them down rain?
Go!
quick. Ja! Go! 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 Everything all right, eh? Good to see you.
Greetings.
So I says to him, "No, father, I haven't been fornicating. I've just been loving my neighbour."
Hey! You alright there, laddie?
Oh, you should have seen him. He went as red as a cardinal's hat. Aye. Hey, servant, bring some wine.
Me? I'm not a servant.
Oh, I know. Old Serene is saving supplies for the wedding later. But you didn't need to bother your wee head about that.
Look, I'm not from here.
Oh. I didn't give a fuck what you pray. You speak our language, do you not?
Well, Yarko, seems to me this fella doesn't know how to behave toward his betters.
The old man's hired hands are lacking in manners. We'll soon fix that. I'll kill you.
God wills it!
Ah!
I'll crush you! Piece of shit!
Who's that, man?
God wills
I'm
it!
with you.
I'll kill you! You're no match for me!
Fuck you! Ah! Come on. Oh, you wee
What in
bastard!
the devil's name is fucking going on here?
What do you think's going on, Grandad? I'm teaching your people here how we do things.
Grandad?
Why, Grandad? An old captain like you probably still remember the foot.
True enough, Yurko. I am old. And I remember all sorts of things. Like you. When you were a little nipper running around here bare arse, with a ribbon in your hair, screaming out how you was Princess Sophie. Poor lad, hadn't a moment's peace from his big sisters.
What about that wine?
Who in God's name are you?
Henry. The Takeoff blacksmith sent me. Radovan.
Blacksmith, eh? Then you'll have some explaining to do. Come along and never mind that fool Yurko. Young Samin's getting married, so we has to put up with his kin from Moravia.
We'll be needing a dozen geese. And I must tell Vashek to get 3 pigs ready for slaughter. And the carters will have to be sent to Yetchin to get at least a peck of poppy seed for cakes. And gingerbread spices. Oh, and wine, too. It's almost all gone, what we bought only last week.
Enter!
Sorry to intrude, sir. This is Henry, blacksmith Radovan's hand.
Oh, excellent. Dorothy, leave us now. Just make sure that there's plenty of everything so long as it doesn't cost too much.
But, sir...
Not another word! Leave us! So Radovan sent you alone. Who's going to unload it all? It's a whole cartload.
Yeah, Radovan sent me, sir, but not with the goods. The thing is, he's missing his cart, along with the carter in his hands.
What? But they never came here. Are you telling me they got lost?
Well, I couldn't tell you what happened to them, sir, but it's my job to find them.
There are all sorts of vermin roaming the countryside.
Oh, no
sir.
need to imagine the worst right off, gnarly. Anyway, I need the load from that cart, so saddle up your old nag and we'll ride out, Captain. I could do with a breath of fresh air. I've had it up to the eyeballs with counting geese and pies.
What about Henry here, sir?
Well, what about him?
We could use an extra pair of hands. You know how my shoulder's acting up. Yurko is shit-faced, and your son...
The older has work to do. All right, take Henry with you if you want. Just so long as he doesn't slow us down.
Thank you, sir.
So, lad, you going with us? I hope you're happy about it.
Yeah. I'll be glad to help you.
Oh, you reckon we can't manage on our own?
No, that's not how I meant it.
Take it easy, son. I'm only yanking your pizzle. By the way, the fellas at the gate say you came here on foot.
Yeah, I did.
Christ above! And how are you going to ride with us? On the back of my saddle? You're a bit big for that, ain't ya? And I'm a bit too old.
You got a stud farm here, don't you? Couldn't I borrow one of your horses?
Aye. And then we'd never see hide nor hair of you, nor the animal again. We don't lend horses. But you're in luck. Our groom brought in a grey nag not long ago. Tell him you've got to ride out with us, and he'll give it to you for a decent price.
All right. Thanks.
Well, that should be that. Unless you've got any more questions.
Actually, there is something I'd like to ask about. This Yurko and his mates, who are they?
They're Lord Samin's kin. They're fine as long as they don't get too much booze inside them.
Only they're from Moravia, so they're never far from the booze.
But what could I tell you, lad? Each to himself. Besides, they stick with the family when push comes to shove. And you can't say that about everyone.
And you, sir? What is it you do?
Well, son, I wonder if I haven't made a mistake about you. If you haven't figured me out by now, you can't be very bright.
No, I just meant, what exactly is it you do for Lord Semin? And your name isn't exactly very common.
I'm the captain here, and I'm sure I don't have to tell you what a captain does. As for my name, it's a nickname Lord Samin's grandpa gave me. May he rest in peace. When I joined his service as a young fella, I took my gnarly club with me. Wouldn't use anything else. I was used to it. And more than once helped me to, win an argument. I broke many a hard skull with it. And it's still in one piece. We've been together so long, we even share the same name.
You're lucky you didn't turn out to be Captain Knob.
Or Captain Headcracker. You're right.
I'd like to go and see that wedding.
Wouldn't we all, lad? And what would you do there?
Well, I heard Lord von Berghoff will be at the wedding, and I need to speak with him.
Son, I don't know if you're serious or yanking my pizzle. Anyways, you're Radovan's hand, ain't ya? He'll be coming to the wedding. He's making a wedding gift for the groom. Stick with him, and maybe he'll take you with him.
We should probably get going.
That we should. But it's getting pretty late. We need daylight for a search like that. Come back in the morning and we'll set out. If you want, stay here. You'll get a bit of grub in the kitchen and you can sleep in the barn.
God bless you.
What can you do?
Greetings.
Good day.
Wait, that's my Pebbles, my girl. I thought they killed you down by that pond.
Good day to you,
What
friend.
is it?
Well,
Did you drop something?
Jesus Christ. Praised. Christ, this weather.
Humble respects.
Be careful. It's not safe.
Greetings. What brings you here so early in the morning?
That grey horse you have grazing here is mine.
What do you mean, yours? I bought it fair and square. I admit, it was only for a few groschen from some suspicious lad who found it down by the Rock Tower Pond, but that horse is not branded, so it belongs to me now.
Use your head. Do I look like someone who needs a free nag?
Well, no, I suppose you don't.
And do you think it's a good idea to make someone like that angry? For a few measly coins?
All right, fine. You can have her, bloody miser. Go and get her then. If she remembers you, she might even come when you whistle for her. Safe travels.
What are you whistling for?
Yes?
A nag like this couldn't have cost more than 10 groschen and a stale loaf of bread.
I'm ready to set out, sir.
All right. Stay close to us and don't go wandering off.
As you say, sir.
Where will we start searching, sir?
If they drove out of Tarkov and headed towards us, they had to pass through Troskowitz.
Right, sir. You keep up with us, son. Troskowitz ain't far, but it seems there's fellas vanishing on the way.
Very good, Captain.
What do you think about it, Captain?
I know you told me not to jump to any conclusions, sir, but I can't help myself. Someone's running rampant around here, sir.
I know who's running rampant. Yurko in the cellar. We're out of wine again. I knew this wedding wouldn't be cheap, but I'm bleeding like a stuck pig. And the bailiff, the bride's father, you'd get more blood out of a stone than coin out of him. And then he behaves like I shit golden eggs just because I'm a noble. Even though he's got more coin than me.
Such are the times, sir. But that Yurko, he's going too far.
You know how those Moravians are. It's in his blood.
Aye, I noticed. But they're getting too much to handle. Him and his cronies. They started on young Henry, soon as he set foot on the courtyard.
What? Is that true, Henry?
It was nothing. Just a bit of a friendly brawl. They clearly had a skinful. I can understand it.
Well, I've sure as hell got no understanding for it. I hope they didn't hurt you.
Young Henry here gave Yurko a nice hammering.
Oh, that's no surprise. The fella can hardly stand upright most of the time.
You'd have to get up early to catch them sober. But they wasn't that drunk as to give Henry an easy fight.
Look here, lad. If you're such a champion, I'm sure you'd accept the challenge of an old man like myself.
It would be an honor, sir.
Excellent. Not afraid, eh? That's what I like to see. There's an abandoned pen along the path a bit. We'll stop off there and see what you're made of.
All right, sir. If you'll excuse me, I'll explain some things to the youngster here first. Wouldn't want no accidents happening.
So, we're here. Gnarly, tell the youngster here what's what.
All right, son. You're going to fight Lord Sameen. It'll be an honorable fight, so you better act accordingly. Hold on, Mo. I'll give you some gear for it.
That won't be necessary. I've got all I need.
Well, all right. But it never hurts to have something in reserve. You can have my cudgel. It might be just a stick, but it's my stick, so careful with it.
Thank you, Captain.
Save the thanks, and get your arse into the pen.
So, young'un, are you ready?
All right, let's do it. Ah!
Corvar, I'm wounded. Wanker!
Henry, come here.
Sucker. I need a bandage.
Come here, son.
Quick.
What do you say, son?
You really gave me the runaround.
I'm no spring chicken, but I'm as spry as ever.
God's truth, sir. You didn't disgrace yourself, but I can see the young un has spirit. Anyways, you can keep that old junk, Henry. Even my cudgel. But take care of the old fella. He might be just a piece of wood, but he saved my arse more than once.
I will, Captain.
And since you won, I've got something else for you as well. My shield.
Isn't that a bit too much, Gnarly?
Sir, my left shoulder's fucked anyway. I can't carry no shield.
True enough.
Thank you.
I needed that. It's good to stretch your limbs every now and again. And you're pretty handy, youngster. You should come to the courtyard, and Gnarly here will give you a good education in the art of the sword.
I call it the art of not getting skewered as soon as you step foot outside the village. But do come, Henry. We've got a nice arena in Sameen. It ain't no abandoned pig pen.
You can't always choose your battleground, Gnarly. Whether it's a pig pen or an arena in Karlstein, it's the performance that counts. And while we're on the subject, where are you from, lad? It's clear you're not from Trotsky.
I'm from Silver Skalitz, sir.
Aha! Now I understand why you're here. You're not the first one to flee here from the war.
I don't flee from a fight, sir. I have work here, and a lot of scores to settle.
You want to get revenge for what happened back home? That usually doesn't end well. You'd be better advised to find yourself a well-built girl, build a cottage, and visit the church and the tavern in turn. There's no helping the dead anyway.
That's nice advice, sir. Only women will tie you down, lad. Better to go and see a bit of the world. You're doing the right thing.
That four-legged ogre gave me a fright.
So, we're in Troskowitz. What now, sir? Should I go to the bailiff and ask if he might have seen someone?
So that makes sense. But the young fella here should do it. If the bailiff sees you, he'll guess I'm in the village and come and bother me. And I'm really not in the mood today for any bombardment of complaints.
I understand, sir. All right, Henry. Run along to the rat house and inquire about that wagon.
And Henry, not a word about me. Are we clear?
As you wish, sir. Master Bailiff, can I ask you about something?
Ask away, by all means. Wait now, aren't you that lad who's helping Radovan in the forge?
Yeah, that's me.
I heard his hired hands went missing.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm here.
Ah, I was thinking they were driving awful fast with that cart.
You saw them?
I did, a few days back. They raced through the village in the early evening so fast, they were dropping sacks of charcoal.
Where were they headed?
Towards the east. To Apollonia on the road to Yichin. And you're looking for them?
I am indeed.
I'm glad to hear it. I heard there were goods for Semin on that cart, and I can do without that kind of trouble now, on account of the wedding, you know?
It seems you have a lot of concerns with that wedding, Master Bailiff.
Of course I do. I'm the father of the bride, after all. Although not everyone sees eye to eye with me. Lord Semin would be happier if I paid all the bills and left all the decisions up to him. Who's invited, what there'll be to eat and drink, entertainment, everything. It's not like I have a burning desire to deal with it, but if I'm going to pay for it...
I understand. But isn't it just that the groom's family is more concerned about these things?
That's not it. I'll tell you what it is. It's because Lord Semin is a noble and I'm just a commoner. Only I've got coin. While he's trying to keep the wolf from the door in that piddling estate of his.
You ought to calm down, Master Bailiff. That kind of talk can stir things up.
You're right, of course. It just makes me mad, though.
I understand. Do you know anything about Radovan's hired hands?
Only what I've told you. But to tell you the truth, I wouldn't mind if they never turned up again.
Why's that?
Well, they might look like butter wouldn't melt in their mouths, and Radovan praises them, but I know people. That pair have mischief in their eyes. I can tell.
That'll be all. Thanks.
What do you need, my friend?
I met the local beggar. Barrow was her name.
She's here again? Oh, confound it. But we'll get rid of her somehow, you'll see.
What? But
You didn't give her any money, I hope? Rabble like that are like stray cats. Feed them once, and you'll never get rid of them.
No, she just told me you might know where I could get some armor.
Armor? Unless you want to join the local watch, I don't think I can help you. Unless maybe Radovan, the blacksmith from Takov. We might sell you something.
But Barrow told me you might know of something better. The armor of some Brunswick?
Oh, that? Lad, 'tis but a legend.
What legend?
It's hard to explain. There are actually 2 legends, or even 3. Well, it doesn't really matter. Why are you so interested anyway? Fine armor like that belongs in the hands of a knight.
Are you saying I don't look like a knight to you?
Well, actually... Oh, apologies, sir. My eyesight isn't what it used to be. You know, I spend all my time poring over books. So, that legend. In short, they say the armor of ancient Bohemian Prince Brunswick is hidden here, waiting for some valiant knight to find it. I don't believe it, of course. After all, I'm educated. But you'd be surprised how many fools have set off to find it.
Who exactly was this Brunswick?
You don't know, lad? Educate yourself. Brunswick was a famous Czech prince who won the lion for our country's coat of arms.
Really? How is it that I've never heard of him?
Perhaps because he never existed. Prince Vladislav II got the lion for our coat of arms for helping Emperor Frederick I, known as Redbeard.
But you just said that...
Brunswick is just a legend, but a quite lovely one, I'll give you that.
Could you recount for me the legend of Brunswick?
Well, why not? Brunswick was a valiant Bohemian prince. He lived in a time when our country had an eagle on its coat of arms, but that wasn't good enough for him. So he decided to head out into the world and gain the mark of a more powerful animal.
A man after my own heart.
You may think so, but his wife was none too happy. Her name was Ludmilla, and she begged Brunswick 100 times to stay home, but he just couldn't be persuaded. Still, he loved her very much, so he took her ring and told her that unless someone came and showed her that ring during the next 7 years, she should wait for his return. But if he failed to return after 7 years, that would mean he would never return.
And what happened next?
Brunswick's party set out to sea, but didn't get far. They were drawn in by an island with a mysterious mountain of amber that holds all ships and prevents them from leaving. Over time, the men on the deserted island died of starvation, leaving only Brunswick, who noticed that once a year a great bird called Noh came to the island to hunt. And so the clever knight hid in his horse's hide at just the right time. And when the bird came, it mistook him for prey and carried him away. So Brunswick wandered on. After some time on the road, the prince came across something unprecedented. A duel between a lion and a 9-headed dragon. So, what do you think Brunswick did at that moment?
Well, considering what he later added to the coat of arms, I expect he helped the lion, eh?
Smart. Brunswick rushed to help the lion, and together they killed the dragon. And from that time on, they were stalwart companions. The lion even followed him all the way back to Bohemia. Except, by then, it was already too late. It had already been exactly 7 years to the day since Brunswick set off on his journey. His wife, Ludmilla, who had until that time valiantly resisted all suitors, was about to remarry. But at the wedding feast, Brunswick managed to drop the ring in her cup. So it all turned out well. For Brunswick, that is. Not so for Ludmilla's new groom, but the lion took care of that.
Where did Brunswick's armor come from?
It is said that George the Lion of Württemberg brought it here. He was the nephew of Lord Chenyek of Württemberg, who built Trusky. This George spent a lot of time with King Wenceslas. A suspiciously long amount of time, if you know what I mean.
I think I get the picture.
And it is said that one day, a lion escaped from the king's menagerie, and George overpowered it with his bare hands and laid it at the king's feet, still alive. As a reward, Wenceslas gave young Württemberg the name Lion and the armor of his ancestor, Prince Brunswick. Only Sir George didn't live to enjoy it for long. He caught the plague at a tournament abroad and died on his way back to his king. Specifically, while visiting his uncle here at Trusky. Of course, the king wanted his armor back, but Lord Chenyek didn't want to give it to him, claiming he had the hereditary right to it. It looked like Wenceslas would lay siege to Trusky, but fortunately Lord Chenyek was completely destitute by then, so he sold all of Trusky and the armor to the king.
Well, if the king was so endeared with Brunswick's armor, why did he leave it here?
Because he didn't have any choice, my friend. He never found the armor. Lord Chenyek was as cunning as a fox. While he did leave the armor here, he never told anyone where. It's said he hid it so it could only be found by a true knight, each piece in a different place. Or so they say round these parts. Who knows if there's any truth to the tale?
And do you know where I could find Brunswick's armor?
Yes, lad, if it even really exists. But I do have a little bit of advice for you. Sir Chenyek, who they say hid the armor, left behind a riddle. It's a test that must be passed by whoever wants to find it. Do you want to hear it?
And how did that riddle go?
Wait, how was it? I've got it. Take your leave of crone and maiden, standing tall behind the gates. Boldly go towards true midnight. In caverns cold your prize awaits. Pass through the all of forest kings, hidden deep from hunter's gaze. Standing tall, 2 guards of stone, behind whom yearned for treasure lays. Between them stands a mighty rock, a subtle niche, yet deeper still, a place to give one's art to God. Behold, my armor gleaming still.
The crone and the maiden towards midnight. We've got east, west, midday, midnight. Bloody hell! I think I know where it is.
Really? Well, seems you've got something between your ears then, lad. And you know what? I've got something else for you. Sir George, who previously owned the armor, wanted to have a nice poleaxe made in Prague too, but he died of the plague before he could do it. I'm not too certain about Brunswick and his armor, but this is certainly true because I have a copy of George's order here. Here, take it as a keepsake. And now go.
Well then, young man, how did it go?
They were spotted here, sir. Going to the east, towards Apollonia.
So to Yitchin? The bastards! And what about my goods?
Oh, they were driving so fast, it was falling off the cart.
The thieving scum! Let's hurry! To Yitchin!
Sir, I can send a message to the Yitchin captain of the guard.
Oh, it'll take too long. We'll go and get them ourselves.
You'll be missing preparations for the wedding at Helm's.
I will. Praise the Lord Jesus Christ. If I have to choose between riding to Yitchin and Dorothy's endless fussing, I'll take Yitchin any time. Besides, there's a nice inn along the way, the Three Cats. We can spend the night there.
I remember that place, but I'm not sure, sir, if they'll let the 2 of us set foot inside the door.
Oh, gnarly, that was 15 summers ago. God knows if the place is even still standing.
True. Still, we'd better keep our eyes peeled. They might not have gone to Yitchin. They could have turned off somewhere. Or something could have happened. They might have been ambushed, maybe.
Will you give over with that? I'll bet my braves they weren't ambushed. More likely we'll find them boozing at the Three Cats.
That'd surely be the best outcome, if that old dive is still standing. Let's go, then. So, St. Anthony, which way now?
While you're praying to the patron saint of lost things, go and have a look along the road, Gnarly. And you, Henry, have a look to the left.
All right, sir. But don't forget, my eyesight ain't what it used to be.
Well, that's what we have the youngster for, isn't it? Off you go.
Did you see a cart drive through here by any chance?
All the time, friend, from Truskovich to Yitchin and back. Sometimes even a slow cart with a dead body.
I'm looking for a cart loaded with goods from the blacksmith. Probably moving fast.
Now that you mention it, I do recall something of the like. They even dropped a sack of charcoal. When you go out of the cemetery onto the road, you should see it right there on the right-hand side.
God be with you.
Amen.
A sack of charcoal? That could have fallen off the cart.
Found anything, lad?
There's a sack of charcoal lying in the ditch to the left of the road. The bailiff said they were driving like the devil, so maybe it fell from the cart.
Oh, that makes sense. To the left it is, then. Gnarly! Back here!
We're getting close. I can feel it in my bones, sir. You'll have the cart back in no time.
I just hope we find the horses, too. Yarmilka here ain't the youngest, and I wouldn't want to drag it back home myself.
A nobleman in harness. We ain't ever had such a spectacle in these parts.
You might get to see it soon enough. The lords in this country have all gone to the dogs. Every lowborn with a bit of coin builds a house in Kuttenberg, while we live in squalor. Why do you reckon that is, lad?
That's a tough question, sir. But nothing happens on God's green earth without his will. If that's the way God wants it, there's nothing you can do.
None of this would be happening if we had a king. And I mean a real one, not Wenceslas or Sigismund. Oh, anywhere that's not ruled by a strong hand, all sorts of things go wrong.
Especially when you've got Moravian relatives eating you out of house and home.
Oh, hold up. This is strange. I don't see any cart tracks. What do you reckon, Gnarly?
I'm blind as a mole, sir. But it's all peculiar, right enough. Where the hell could that cart have vanished to?
Well, that's just it. They had nowhere to turn off.
I'll look up the road a bit. And you, Henry, have a look back along the road. Maybe it fell in a ditch somewhere. Who knows?
Very well, sir.
Blacksmith's cart. And someone went to a hell of a lot of trouble to hide it from the road.
Hey! I found the blacksmith's cart! Come here!
Well, now, here we have it. The blacksmith's cart.
Someone went to a lot of trouble to hide it from the road.
Yeah. Of course, the goods are gone. The bastards hauled it off to the rocks. That's clear. Well, we can't let them get away with it. We'll carry on, but on foot. My old young milker would only break a leg there. And keep a sharp lookout. Something stinks here.
I told you. They got ambushed by them bastards that's on the rampage around here, sir.
Oh, be quiet. We still can't be sure of anything.
Ah, Apollonia. I spent a lot of time running around here as a young lad.
Oh, not me. This place always gave me the shivers.
God's truth, I ain't got only good memories of it. One time, got my legs stuck in a crevice a bit further on. Trapped there all night I was, shitting myself with fear. It wasn't till morning that the folk from the fortress found me. The whole of Sameen was out looking for me.
See, at least you came here as a kid. It still gives me the creeps here.
Why's that, sir? It's just some rocks, ain't it?
You'd sing a different tune if you'd had the rope-maker's wife as a nanny when you were little. Now, she had some tales about this place. Headless horsemen, goblins and white ladies. Every night, we'd gather by the hearth. The old woman would sit at her spinning wheel telling stories. I'll tell you, Captain, there isn't much I'm afraid of. But when that blind old crone was croaking her tales of devils and holes to hell, with the fire crackling and the wind whistling outside the windows, and the word... Yeah, I hear it.
There's somebody there, sure enough.
Let's get closer. What do we do now? I heard more than two voices.
I used to clamber around here as a young lad. The girls from Slatigo used to come make a fire here and jump over it. And so's their underwear wouldn't catch fire. Sometimes they'd take it off.
That's nice, Gnarly, but I don't think it's scantily clad maidens we'll be running into here. So what's that got to do with anything?
Well, there's a nice view into the gorge from up there. We only have to go back a bit, and we can get up there nicely.
Right. Henry, what are you waiting for? This is just the kind of thing we took you along for.
Sure, sir. With a bit of luck, there might be some girls there, too.
I could do without girls with voices like that. Now get going.
He was a freak. What's wrong with his legs? What's wrong with his legs is they can't stay away from the tavern. You two don't know the truth from an hole in the ground. Stumble was a priest. He showed me only pictures of it and taught me a lot. Aye, Stumble was a priest. Pigs can fly, and Ghoul's name is really Sophie. For a wench, He's got a miserable pair of tits on him. You really saw that? I'm not kidding.
Those
Honest.
definitely aren't
Tell him
the
I'm not
blacksmith's
having him on.
hands.
You saw it too. True. He ain't yanking your pizzle. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. She had one different than the other. All right. That ain't normal. Everyone must be laughing at the way. Why? Some people might like it. I don't know who'd like that.
So how's it look, Sonny? How many?
I saw 3. And they don't look like Radovan's hands.
And what about my goods?
I didn't see them. It looked more like a patrol. I reckon there might be more of them hereabouts.
Seems we can't avoid a fight. I hope you're ready, Henry.
Sure am, sir.
I wouldn't worry about Henry, sir. He showed us mettle and training. So, how are we gonna do it? Do you just want to charge them, sir?
What else do you suggest?
Someone could go back up top and try to take one of them down with an arrow before we charge them. There's a good view of the camp from up there.
Good idea. Borrow my crossbow. My shoulder's giving me jip anyway.
All right, sir.
Climb up top, and as soon as you shoot the first time, we'll charge them. And make sure you don't hit one of us.
Right you are, Captain.
You don't say. You really saw that? I'm not kidding. Tell him I'm not having him on. You saw it too. True. He ain't yanking your pizzle. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. She had one different than the other. All right. That ain't normal. Everyone must be laughing at the wench. Why?
You
No
should have
chance.
fucking stayed out of... Now I'll show ya! Nice hit! I'll rip your ass open!
Fucked up.
Done for!
Now I'll show you.
Amen to you!
That's a lot of blood. This should stop it.
Stop, darling. Hey, Henry, get over here. What's the hold?
Oh, this day took it out of me, and no mistake.
And it ain't over yet, sir. Your goods ain't here. And none of them bastards look like the blacksmith's hands. Am I right, Henry?
Hard to say. I've never actually seen them. But I don't think it was them.
Me neither. But right past that peak is another good camping spot.
You think this was a patrol?
It makes sense. But I don't want to go assuming the worst. We might have just run into them bandits by chance.
Yeah, well, you were right, as always. Let's go, then. Are you ready, Henry?
I am. Let's go.
Hold on, lad. Give me back my crossbow. You weren't thinking of keeping it, were you?
Of course. You did a good job.
I should bloody think so.
I thought we had everything clear, then, sir. You tried to fuck with me, so until we ride out, you're gonna stick right there and keep your mouth shut.
We did everything you asked. We got the blacksmith cart and the goods.
Horse shit. You tried to fuck me. That bastard cousin of yours owned up to it.
It was his idea. I wanted nothing to do with it.
Make no difference to me, Venser. You vouched for the crooked fucker. So now, it's on you. Actually, you could consider yourself lucky. If you hadn't saved my ass that time in Colleen, I'd have goat ear skin you alive.
Bastards. You can't trust anyone in these parts. Get ready, Gnarly. We are going to parley.
Like that time with the Johnny, sir?
Yes, exactly.
Only there was more of us that time, and less of them.
Oh, don't worry, there won't be a problem. They're just common thieves. Besides, I'll take young Henry with me. What, me? And if they're still feeling brave, you get to try out that new plaything of yours.
Gentlemen, I'm obliged to you for looking after my goods, but I'll take them back now. Just hand them over, and I'll let you go.
Oh, you must be from Samin, sir. Well, of course you can have everything back. Just as long as you ask nicely, eh? Well, how about we do things differently? You lay down your weapons, and we can all have a nice little chat. I mean, I don't intend to go murdering local lords. I just want your coin.
That's very noble of you, sir.
What are you gaping at? At them!
At them!
Dead man!
Another man!
Come on!
You're no match for us, fucker! Wanker! Let's see what you're made of, you bastard!
You should have fucking stayed out of it. Take that! Take it home.
Amen to you.
They got what they deserved, the fuckers. Henry! Hey, Henry! Are you listening? Come here!
I'm a nobleman. What now?
One of them bastards fled into the rocks. Chase him down and bring him back.
Did you see which way he went?
No, I had other things on my hands. Besides, you're the one who's supposed to keep watch.
But they'd taken him captive. What use would he be to us?
Are you deaf? Didn't you hear what they said? They took him captive because he wanted to drive off with the load. They fucked over Radovan, fucked over his lordship, and wanted to fuck over that bandit too. They were in cahoots. Only the thief wanted to rob the thieves. And they deserve the same punishment, if not more.
I'll go and track him then.
Great. Hurry.
I never expected you to let your son marry a villager.
Precious of Bailiff.
Bailiff or not, his family's common as much. And then there's the talk about money.
They say you're... I've got you now, Venser. You've nowhere to run to. Yield.
Well, why the fuck would I? It's just you against me. Besides, if I do yield, it's the rope for me anyway.
Who knows what they'll do to you? You might just get a whipping.
For robbing Semine, that old miser. He'll have me strung up from the nearest tree. I'd be better off jumping off the cliff.
Hey, I saw you cozying up with Gules. Seems to me he trusts you pretty much.
What? He wanted to skin me alive.
But he didn't.
What's that got to do with anything, anyway?
Well, I'd say you have a way with the nobles. People trust you. You just say it was the rashness of youth. Pour ashes on your head, and they'll be lenient. You'll tell Lord Semine it was a youthful folly, eat crow, and that'll be that.
Convince his lordship? I'm not sure.
Well, either you give it a try, or we fight it out, or you jump.
Although, Ma always said I could talk my way out of anything. For sure. I'm better at it than fighting with strangers or diving head first off a cliff. All right. But only if you'll put in a good word for me. You'll tell them that I gave him up right away. And I don't know, with the face of the Virgin Mary appeared in the clouds?
You got it. But I'll try and think up something better than the Virgin Mary.
All right. Let's go.
I've got a prisoner for you, sir.
Excellent. It all worked out quite well in the end. Gnarly will take care of this scum.
What about Gules?
He caught a few good hits, but he's alive. We'll take him with us. I need to have a strong word with him. You did a good job, youngster. You've got heart. And so you don't say I had you clambering over these rocks for nothing. Here's something for you.
Thank you, sir.
Don't thank me. You deserved it. And now, let's get that accursed cart back to Samin. Want to ride? We'll go via Troskowitz. We can drop you off there, and you won't have far to Tarkov. You ought to report back to Radovan as soon as possible about what happened with these hands.
What's going to happen with that pair?
You mean Radovan's hands? We'll see. The one that ran for it, it's clear with him. The other fella was tied up, so who knows what went down. Maybe he was innocent. Gnarly'll have a word with him, and we'll see what he tells us.
Sir, Venza surrendered because I promised to put in a good word for him.
Well, it's nice that you promised him, but I'm the one who'll decide on the fate of that scum, and it's quite clear to me.
All right. A ride would be great. My legs are sore.
Wait until you're my age. Well, let's get going.
I didn't do nothing wrong, I swear. It's all Vence's fault. It was him who said we'll sell the car to Gills.
It weren't like that at all. We shook on it. But on the way, you had the idea we'd keep it.
What? That ain't true.
Leave it out, you two. One way or another, you wanted to fuck me over. It doesn't matter whose idea it was.
Thief robbing a thief. What a world.
I'm still a nobleman, if you don't mind. But I'm not a thief. I'm a robber baron.
A thief's a thief.
Where are you taking us?
To Samin, where his lordship will hear you out and decide what to do with you.
I hope you realize you can't just execute me.
It depends. By right, I should send a plea to some court to decide if we can behead you. But in these shitty times, nobody will give a toss. Parchment's dear, and ink ain't free either. So as far as I'm concerned, I'd happily risk it and knock your head off without permission.
I see how the law is respected here.
Ha! Are you yanking my pizzle? You're a fine one to talk about law.
And what will happen to us?
With you? Hard to say. We'll see what kind of mood Lord Samin's in. But with the wedding and all, I wouldn't get my hopes up.
But I didn't do anything. It was all Venza.
Shut the fuck up, Francie!
I'm innocent. I swear on my ma's soul.
Is that supposed to soften my heart? Ha! Every man she could, I dragged to the gallows, swore on his mother. Nobody with any decency would risk his mother's immortal soul, even if he was as pure as the driven snow. But this bastard doesn't think twice about his soul. You should be ashamed of yourself.
The captain's right. Only the lowest of the low swears on his mother.
That's right! You always were a piece of shit, Francie. No scruples.
Well, ain't it grand to have you here to explain everything? Now shut your gobs, the three of you. Don't want you poisoning the air with the shit you spout. Right, We're in Troskowitz. This is where you get off, Henry.
Thanks a lot, Captain.
Don't forget to go and tell Radovan what happened, so he can stop worrying.
Will do.
And drop by Sameen sometime. You may be wet behind the ears still, but you're a laugh to have around.
Thanks. You're not bad yourself, for an old fart.
You're not too old to get spanked, man.
Whoa!
What an ugly old nag.
Keep your eyes on the road, you fool.
Fuck you, horseson! No, you don't. The best you can do. Fuck you! I'll hack your arse off.
Why did you do that?
Lord be with you.
Hey! Stop fighting!
You'll be fucking sorry.
I can't bear to look.
Him.
What? Why is he lying there like that?
What are you lying here for?
Goodness gracious! Are you all right? Wake up! Quick!
Oh, fuck this.
So, job done. The cart was found and driven to Lord Semin's courtyard.
Whew. That's a relief. And what happened to that pair of idiots?
It turned out they tried to rob you.
Oh, they did they?
Aye. They plotted with some robber baron called Gules and brought the cart to him.
The bastards. I should have realized they were a bit too keen on work. And how did you get the cart back?
Well, I went to Semin, and they were wondering there too where the wagon got to. So we rode out to look for it. Me, Lord Semin, and his captain, Gnarly.
Well, God's nails. And the three of you tracked them down. The whole band.
That's right. They were hiding in Apollonia, along with the carts and the goods.
Indeed. Where else? The bastards. And what about my hands?
I'm not sure. Lord Semin took them and Gules to his courtyard. We'll see how he deals with them.
I'd know what to do with them.
Don't worry. I don't think Lord Semin will let them off lightly.
Anyway, the main thing is the cart turned up. I'd be in a right mess if it didn't.
No doubt.
And you've earned a reward for your trouble. I've got just the thing for you. Some mercenary once had his cuirass repaired here, but never came back for it. Who knows what happened to him? So now it's yours. It's been through a bit, but it'll still serve for a while.
Thanks. It'll come in handy. And have you got another job for me?
Young Lord Semin's wedding is coming up, and it's got my head spinning. Look, you must have seen Agnes, the bailiff's daughter, when you were in Truskovitz. What do you think of her?
Well, young Semin is marrying her, isn't he? Why would I have my eye on her?
Don't pretend. A statue of a saint would have his eye on her. Looks ain't everything, though. She's got such a sharp tongue on her. I almost feel sorry for young Semin. And how about you, lad? Have you got some lass waiting in Sasau?
Yeah. And I hope she'll wait. Her name's Teresa. Her uncle owns a mill on the river in Ratai.
A girl from the mill?
You want to watch out for them types. You might get caught up in devilry, lad. A wedding's a serious business. You're not just getting a bride, but a whole family. So you have to show them you're a man who's worth it. All the more so when you're noble born. Old Semin wants a special sword forged for his son's wedding present.
Excellent. So what are we waiting for? Should we get to work?
Hold your horses. It can't be any old steel. This has to be a first-class job.
A blade of first-class steel?
That's right. And that's just the problem.
Ah, I see. We don't have any welded steel for that kind of sword, do we?
God's nails. You really know your stuff, youngster. And you're right. We don't have the steel for a strong sword that won't break.
I'd like to know where you're going to get your hands on some welded steel.
Relax, lad. I've got it all figured out, as it happens. There's this old hermit called Ambrose, living in Apollonia.
And he can pray for us?
God's nails, let me finish talking. The word is, he was fighting heathens years ago in faraway Andalusia, and folks say they saw this interesting broken sword in his hut. From the description, it seems our peculiar hermit has a real Toledo blade.
Welded Spanish steel? There's nothing better for a sword.
See now? You do understand. But there's a catch.
Naturally.
They say that Ambrose the Hermit has changed a lot recently. People from far and wide used to go to him for remedies and blessings. But now he won't see no one. I even heard he made a pact with the devil. And there have been other strange goings-on.
What strange goings-on?
I heard something in the tavern about some apparition. But that's all I know.
With the devil? Why would the hermit make a pact with the devil?
No idea. It might just be old wives' tales.
Where can I find the hermit?
Do I look like someone who goes to a hermit for advice? I know he has a hut somewhere in Apollonia. But you'll have to ask the Truskovitz womenfolk if you want to know more.
Right. I'll try to find out more about the hermit's sword. But in return, you'll get me invited to Semin's wedding.
If it means so much to you, why not? Come and see Betty from the Truskovitz Tavern. She knows all the gossip. She'll definitely tell you more about the hermit. But Henry, if there's any truth in that pact with the devil, don't get caught up in it. The best sword in the world isn't worth eternal damnation.
Sir,